Hello, my name is Marie Thibeault. We are at the Palos Verdes Art Center at my solo exhibition, The Radiant Rupture. This is a show of drawings and paintings done over a course of the past 10 years. I'm a painter based in San Pedro. My work often responded to the intense structures at the Port of Los Angeles. But recently, I've become more concerned with the visible effects of climate change on the local landscapes, the canyons, the shoreline, and the landslide complex that are affecting this area. I'm concerned with the acceleration of climate effects like hydroclimate whiplash, fire, drought, flooding, erosion, and the different forces that are affecting us directly. The paintings themselves are complex structures that are meant to be read as cycles too. So they unfold in a cyclical manner. And so they're metaphorically speaking to the things that I'm concerned with. I become intrigued when I encounter a landscape that has suffered some trauma. And I'm interested in how people are trying to mitigate or mend it. In some of the paintings, you'll see caution tape, just in little bows that people have tied over fences that have fallen down. In some paintings, there are like blue tarps that are over big holes and fractured architecture that look like they are being held together precariously. So there's a sense of destruction but mending, so collapse and regeneration. So there's always this sort of implied cyclical structure. The paintings are abstract narratives. So they are evoked from an experience that's filtered through memory and sensation, and I would say even synesthesia. I listen to a lot of music, and there's a lot of rhythm that comes into play when I'm cultivating a composition. The paintings go through many layers of drawing, and then glazing, and then more drawing, and then glazing, until they become sort of a body of information. There's a lot of complex structures that are buried under layers of paint, and the final layer is generally sealed with some type of color mood to create some cohesiveness in the complexity. The colors in this show are really going to be speaking to the type of element or forces that are depicted in the painting. The blue is related to oceanic forms, Arctic glacial melt, etc. There's several red paintings that were done right after forest fires or in the effect of fires. And then there are some paintings that just use industrial color to contrast against the natural palette of the landscape. Often the paintings will imply or directly use a horizon line in the middle of the painting. And that really happens because the paintings are meant to be experienced physically. And that is at the waist of the person. The sky is the mind or your thinking, and the ground is where we're walking, or the underworld. So the horizon line balances all the forces of complexity, but it also shows a precarious balance between symmetry and asymmetry. Golden State is a painting that brings together two disparate aspects of the landscape as a portrait of California. The complex density of the Port of Los Angeles is at the bottom part of the painting, and an upside down dead granary tree hangs at the top part, creating this opposition. These two complex spaces come together as a fulcrum point, and sort of the question becomes, in this binary space, their relationship is teetering. So in the painting, it's held together with equilibrium of the two color fields of the yellow and the blue, which hold them together. The name Altamira means from on high. It's a Spanish word. It's actually the name for the deep landslide complex that runs underneath Palos Verdes, which is affecting this whole area, and the efforts to mitigate and hold together the land as this shifting has been accelerating. Also in the painting, you're going to see these windows that are of different colors, and that is a reflection of landscapes outside of the place that you might see behind you or around you, that also suggest an awareness larger than the experience of the place that you're in. I took a class in earth science to learn more about actual geology and the workings of the planet. And I learned a lot about the mechanisms of hydrospheres and biospheres and the way all these systems work inside the planet as well as outside of the planet. And it triggered my imagination to think about these things metaphorically. So the painting constructs its composition with rock forms, water forms, and also shifting areas that are continually moving and recreating themselves. The window in earth science is a reflection of perhaps a firescape that's going on behind you. It functions like a rear view window. It's also just a temperature notation that this is where we are now with this rising climate, and it sits on top of a cooler geological space. Watch Duty takes its title from the popular app that alerts us of fires, and there are two mapping structures that are held together in some type of disequilibrium, again suggesting danger and safety or nearness and distance. The viewer is questioned where they are in relationship to the threat of climate change as it increases. So the tensions are meant to pull you in different directions, but the vehicle that I'm trying to harness is aesthetic arrest, and that comes from Joseph Campbell. So aesthetic arrest means that you're stuck looking at this red square while all the other structures are evolving, or your alignment to the painting starts to affect parts of your body that you're actually seeing it with your body as well as your eyes. I'm not happy with the work until those tensions are pretty intact and that I feel like the structures can unfold and then fold back into the composition and unfold. So there's a mechanism in each painting that takes a while to resolve. They're very complex images that take a long time to see. They are meant to be sort of contemplated and puzzled out and to be understood.